Hello again, Lockpicking Paul here, and what I've got tonight is a rather ratty looking Eurospec mortise lock. It's 5-lever BS kite marked lock, and this lock has given me lots of pain. It's been sitting around in my naughty box for a while, and I couldn't set a single lever on this thing. It just was not playing ball at all. And I'd kind of put it in the box and forgotten about it because I wasn't making any progress with it, and I went on to locks where there was at least a prospect of me opening them. And then someone on the UK Locksport forum today posted a picture of a very similar looking lock and said, I haven't been able to make any progress with this thing. And I thought, oh, I've got one of those and I'm in the same boat. Maybe I should take another look. It reminded me I still had it. So I had another go, couldn't get it open, so I pulled the cover off, put a bit of manual tension on the bolt, and then just lifted each lever in turn with a piece of wire just to see what was going on. And I figured what the problem was. And these are the wires I normally use to pick mortise locks. See if I can get those in focus properly. Yeah, show the end on profile. Oh, right, okay. That's what they look like. One's a little bit longer than the other one. They're about the same height. But they weren't going to get it done. So I ended up making this wire. And if I can hold them both together, actually, that might be a better way of showing the difference between the two of them. One is I've made a much taller upstand to it. It's a bit longer. Remember this, they're sitting side by side like that, so it's a bit longer. It just lifts a lot higher, this wire. It's a really extreme profile if you think about it. And then I had a go on the lock and it did open. And then I opened it a couple more times. And then I discovered there is actually an anti-pick notch on one of the levers. I managed to get a lock up and couldn't get it open. So I'll show you that because it's quite subtle. It's only a small notch, but it's actually quite effective. You can lift out of it, unlike most anti-pick notches. You just back off the tension and push through it and you can get out of it, but it's still hard work and it still causes you to have to sort of go around the lock again. So it's one of those locks that either opens really quite quickly or is a bit of a protracted battle as you mess around with the lever with the notch. So I thought we'll pick this, I'll gut it and I'll show you the levers, because I have seen people online with this lock literally open it in seconds. So I don't know if their versions of this lock have the same sort of requirement for a really high lift wire, or they've even got the anti-pick notch. So I would be interested to know if you've got this Eurospec lock, does yours have a notch in it? And it will be quite a small, very subtle notch, and it might only be on one lever. You have to go quite light tension, although this lock does want high tension to actually sort of cause levers to bind, so it's a bit of a paradox. But light tension because I don't want to get caught up in that anti-pick notch. I'll move that slightly. I need to get my hand in here. course, having a wire with this kind of an extreme profile does cause it to have trouble getting under some of the levers. It's a bit of a compromise situation. Well, we're close either to opening it or getting a lock up. Come on. There you go. So not an easy pick. Not an easy pick at all. I've got to get my wire out now. My wire's, because it's such a weird extreme profile, it's jammed in there. Hang on, let's get this rotated and we can get it out that way. There you go. Yeah, hopefully that's not too bent. I'd like to use that again. Right, let's get it gutted. Yeah, so definitely not an easy lock to pick. Probably a mixture of some wear because it's a reasonably old lock. Right. First thing to note is these are, it's really quite an unusual lever arrangement. It's not normally how levers look at all in a mortise lock, but it definitely makes for a hard pick. I mean, there's no other reason than you wouldn't have thought this would be that difficult this first lever, for example, has no anti-pick notches in it. It's a relatively low lift. Although the other thing worth mentioning is they're on the bottom. These levers here have been thinned out, so actually getting a wire onto them, you slip off of those dead easy. They are definitely a bit of a challenge. So nothing special about lever 1, nothing special about lever 2. Lever 3, again, nothing special. Lever 4. So this is the one with the anti-pick notch. It's really shallow, but there's the lip. So it comes, the lever at rest is there, or a bolt at rest is on that shelf. When it drops into the notch here, and there's a little catch the other side of the shelf. So it's just one tiny notch, but it's actually pretty effective, and with anything other than light tension, it locks up pretty tight. That's also quite a high lift lever, that one. And then lever 5, again, nothing special. But that's it. It just needs a very strange profile to get it open. And that's it for tonight. So I suppose the motto of this story is, it's not always the workman, sometimes it's the tools. I'm going to blame the tools anyway, works for me. I hope you enjoy that. Enjoy your picking. Have a good evening. Cheers.